Hey y'all, Sam here. I'm going to show you today one of my new favorite recipes. It involves butternut squash. So I'm going to quickly go over how to peel and chop butternut squash. I'm left-handed, surprise if you didn't know that about me. I'm just going to quickly go through this. I like to just try to make big long sections. Okay, you're going to peel from top to bottom, and then once everything is peeled, you will want to chop it. So I will show you that in just a second. All right, so you can see everything. I just left the top and the bottom. So chopping this, key number one is to have a sharp knife. Accidents happen when knives are actually not sharp versus when they're sharp. So I like to just hold on to the big part and you just kind of press down and away from you. So down and away with the knife. All right, and then the other key is don't overload your board. So at this point, since I'm working with such a small board, I'm just gonna show you a few at a time. I like to make cubes. I cut maybe 3 or 4 across, and then again 3 or 4 across, and add them to a bowl just to get out of the way. Same idea. I will show you when I get down to the bulb as well, kind of how we take care of that since the bulb does have seeds in it. So we get close to the bottom. You'll notice that there's seeds in your butternut squash and you don't want to eat these. So we're going to want, so I go 2 ways. Looks like this one's sprouting. It's always fun. So there's 2 ways to kind of handle seeds. If you're not super comfortable with your knife skills, what I would just say to do is to turn it over so that the biggest part is there and then you just kind of cut around it. This way you're not having to like go in a circle with a very sharp knife like this, because that can get kind of scary. So I would advise, especially if you're not 100% clear on your knife skills, make flat surfaces as much as you can. So to me, this is a flat surface, okay? It's much simpler. And then you just kind of cut around. Again, go slow if you're brand new at this, and then you can speed it up as you get more proficient in your cutting, but we're just gonna cut all of this into cubes. And then for this particular recipe, I'm going to end up microwaving this. However, this is also great. Butternut squash is great just to throw on a baking sheet with a little bit of coconut oil and to roast at about 425 for about 30 minutes or so. So I'll show you all of this after it's microwaved. All right, y'all, so I cubed this butternut squash and I cooked it on high in the microwave for about 6 minutes. You could also steam it on the stove for about 10 minutes if you don't do the microwave thing. I'm gonna add, so this is a little bit, it's softer now because it was in the microwave. I'm gonna add all of it, no liquid or anything like that added. If there's liquid in here, it's natural just from the squash. I wouldn't worry too much about it. We're gonna treat this just like we do cauliflower rice. All right, so we're going to put the lid on and we're gonna pulse this. So you'll see it start to make, all right, and just before it starts to turn it into a puree, you can see it's little granules that look like rice, okay? So this is going to get added to a very large saute pan. We are going to spray this lightly with nonstick spray. I use coconut oil, but whatever you have, just so it doesn't stick in the beginning. I'm going to remember that there is something here in the center. Just let that all come out. Oh, there it is. So get this going. I've got the saute pan right now over about medium heat. If you want to add any shallots or chopped onions to this, you could do this. You could do that right now as well. This was a large butternut squash, so it's going to make plenty of servings. We're going to make risotto out of this, but it's going to be grain-free. There's no rice, there's nothing. It's really just the butternut squash. We're going to allow it to cook down with some vegetable stock, vegetable broth, whatever you have on hand. Try to get low sodium if you can. I always try to get organic. All right, that's clean enough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this cook with your vegetable stock or broth. I'm using broth today, it's organic. This has 4 cups in it. I'm gonna start with about a cup just to give it something to steam with. I'm not gonna bother with measuring too much. And then also, I'm gonna use some sage. This is fresh sage. If you don't have fresh sage, but you have ground sage, you could go with that as well. I really love the pairing of sage with the butternut. If you're trying to think of a meal to kind of make this complete, you could do some turkey with sage and some onions as a really good complement to this and a way to use up your extra sage. So I'm just going to quickly run my knife through that, and then I'll show you kind of what I did. So I took 2 or 3 of these leaves. I'm just going to show you with 2. Okay, and then I rolled them up with each other. So I kind of made like a cigarette or however you want to call it. And then from that, I just cut down, and that makes ribbons. And then from the ribbons, you can see them. Nice and long and pretty. It's called chiffonade. And then from that, I just cut across. So nice and easy, super simple. I added about 3 leaves of sage there. I'm going to cover this and let it cook for about 6 minutes. Stir it occasionally, and then I'm going to add about another cup over the next 5 or 6 minutes, and I'll show you the end product. All right, y'all, so this has been cooking for a total of about 10 or 12 minutes. About halfway through, I've had the lid on. Halfway through, I added another cup of broth and let it cook again for, so a total of 10 minutes covered. I just took the lid off. I'm letting some of the liquid that's left in the pan kind of evaporate off as it cooks. But as you can see, it's much softer. Everything's cooked down. When you taste this, I want you to check for 2 things. 1, how done it is, meaning that it's no longer really crunchy. It's very soft, just like you would think of risotto. And 2, depending on what kind of broth you use, you'll want to taste for salt. So you might need to add a half of a teaspoon or a little bit more of that of salt, depending on your broth. But this is ready to serve. It's perfect. You can store it in a Tupperware and eat it for the next few days, or have it for dinner tonight. All right, guys, I love to hear when you make these recipes. So if you end up making this for dinner, let me know. Tag me on Instagram or Facebook at Pancake Warriors. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more recipes just like this. Thanks so much. Enjoy your dinner. Have a great day.